Does nobody understand that Jesus was a Muslim? And explain to me, how could Jesus be a Christian? Like, Jesus was never praying to himself. And this is why Christianity as a whole makes no fucking sense. Because you have a belief system and you claim to follow God, but you pray to Jesus. And the name Christian comes from the name Christ. The entire belief system is based around Jesus, right? And praying to Jesus makes no fucking sense, because if you follow Jesus...
And what's especially hilarious is this guy obviously doesn't know anything about Islam either, because the Quran says that Allah prays. And you find in the Hadith that Allah prays. And there are passages where it explains that when Allah is praying to himself, he's like trying to give himself self-control, like when he wants to crush everyone and wants to judge everyone and just destroy everyone. And so he kind of prays to himself for control and so on. But notice, in the Quran, it just says Allah prays. Allah and his angels pray. So you Muslims pray for Muhammad too. And so the question from the Quran is, well, who's he praying to? Is he praying to himself or to someone else? And so here's the issue. See, you could, if you knew nothing about Christianity and you hear, oh, Christians believe Jesus is God and Christians believe that Jesus prayed, you could raise that objection. Well, who's he praying to? You can say you don't believe it, but you can't say, oh, it makes zero sense in Christianity for Jesus to be speaking to the Father. You can't. It does. It fits. You can reject it and say it's not true, but it fits. In Islam, it just makes no sense. Who in the world is Allah praying to? And the other problem here is, notice the alternatives. Jesus is either a Christian or he's a Muslim. He's either a Christian or he's a Muslim. Oh, he's not a Christian. Jesus isn't a Christian, so he's a Muslim. Like, wait, what?
And it doesn't matter how many times they make it, it's still an etymological fallacy. I don't care how desperate Muslims want to defend this nonsensical claim that Jesus was a Muslim. It's still an etymological fallacy. You're not a Muslim if you just submit to God, because then David and I are Muslims. But they don't want to say we're Muslims because we don't submit to God the way they want. So then they just start committing different logical fallacies to rescue this obviously bad argument. You're not a Muslim if you just submit to God. That's not what the word Muslim means. It does not. Just go look at any dictionary.
Yeah, it's not anyone who submits to God in any way he wants. It's submitting to God in a very particular way. And this came up, of course, in my recent debate with Kenny Bomer, but I'll just read a couple passages here. So from the Quran, Surah 19, verses 88 to 91, and they say, the most beneficent has begotten a son. Certainly you have made an abominable assertion whereby the heavens are almost torn and the earth is split asunder and the mountains fall in ruins, that they ascribe a son to the most beneficent.